Stationeers, first steps in rocketry. This is not a tutorial, even though if you haven't yet dabbled in rocketry at all in Stationeers, then you will learn a few things. Because, I mean, the purpose of this video is, I have dealt with most things in Stationeers, but this is new to me, and I want to learn that, and I want to just, you know, record it, because I wish I had a recording actually of my first steps in Stationeers, so that I could remember what it was like, because I can't. Man, that is just sad. Now, this might be not as significant, but at least I didn't want to make the mistake of just dropping the ball on this one. Yeah, this thing doesn't yet fly. This is creative mode, by the way, and I recommend, if you want to learn about rockets, that you do use creative mode. Wait. Because there's just so much that you have to print, and I assume that a rocket can also get lost and destroyed, and you don't want to you know, suffer through that frustration, I guess. At some point you would be ripe to actually use these in real life. Anyway, what's happening here is I turn this thing on and Shazam. But it doesn't fly. And I have a suspicion of why that is. And when I had that suspicion and thought, hey, I could try this and this, then I realized, hey, I should record this. Because maybe it works. And that would be very cool to have that kind of document, I think. So, to get some feeling, we'll talk about what I have done here. I mean, for those who haven't yet dabbled in this stuff at all, so I can play teacher again, even though I don't know shit myself yet. Let's see, here we have 2,760 liters of fuel. And we still have that. And we still have that, because I assume that this is actually not using a lot of fuel, because, I mean, it's not flying. Okay, should be a bit more focused about this, right? Okay, so what is the first thing that you are asking yourself? I don't know, because I don't know where you're coming from. But let's just take this as some kind of total beginner rocketry tutorial, so that you catch up to where I am right now, and then we try to develop from there and try to find out how it works. Impressive. I mean, the sound department of the Rocket Works Stationeers team, they really got it figured out, man. They know what they're doing. So, rockets. What can we do with them? We can fly them to a place, for example to orbit, which is the reason that I'm even getting into this now. Where was it? Location, map, right, of course. Here we are, right, on Mars. Oh, I can zoom in? Oh, I didn't know that. And this is, I don't know how new this is, but this is the Mars orbit. And that is where we will apparently soon be able to build our orbital stations. The developers have actually posted some stuff about that. Let me get you the evidence. Orbit. Second, please. So the newest entry is from yesterday. Currently it's 2025, October the 31st. That's Halloween, isn't it? I think. I'm a German, so why should I care? Added low orbit hub nodes to all space maps. Orbital launch mount nodes on the space map will connect to these hub nodes. Orbital launch mount nodes on the space map. We just saw the space map. Will connect to these hub nodes. So will we be able to have multiple orbital places where we can then build individual stations, or what's the idea here? I don't know. Let's see if there's more. Yeah, moved low orbit playable bounds definition to rocket class. Okay, that's irrelevant. Implementation. Added low orbital station spawn mount XYZ command to help. Anyway, there have been a few orbit-related developments on the beta in the last few days. Not before, because I pursue this. I read that every day. I'm eager to see new stuff and, of course, to report on it also. so it's, I mean, the developers have said multiple times for many months now that they have a working prototype of a planetary station, obviously, and of a station in orbit at the same time in the same game session. So we could then launch to orbit, have or build a station there, and go down there, and then we will see everything down here has still happened, like something has exploded, or we have deep mined stuff, or the batteries have discharged, this kind of thing, you know? That is what's coming, and it appears that's what's coming now. That's why I'm trying to get into rockets. So, well, let's get into rockets together then. So we have now seen the map. I would it would normally look like this, and I clicked here, and then I clicked set destination. Now we can see a clear destination, so this is actually assigned. Here we have location info, that's just a different tab of the same screen, where I can see what I can do there, but the rocket isn't there yet, so... and how you actually launch a rocket is you turn on the engine. Mine, though, isn't flying, and I have the suspicion that the reason is plain simply that there is not enough pressure. Before I started building this, yesterday and today I watched a 15-minute video, only part of it, of Shadow Drake, which I have now added to my YouTube channel's homepage, where I'm recommending a few channels, so I have added that channel too now. Because, I mean, I didn't want to... I mean, I had, okay, about almost a year ago or half a year ago, in a playthrough on Mimus, I had made the rocket printer, the rocket manufacturing, and printed a few rocket parts, and then just learned a few things, like you have to make the launch mount. That's the first thing that you need for a rocket, and this in turn requires frames. A frame here, a frame there, a frame there, and a frame there. Or maybe more frames, but anyway, you need some kind of frame hole and a frame platform on which you place your launch mount. And the launch mount is then where you build the rocket. So the launch mount is not part of the rocket, it is where the rocket can land. And according to a Shadow Drake video that I listened to today, you can have many of these. And you can see here in the tooltip that we have the destination code, so that's a number assigned by the game itself, I guess. Yep, I can rename it, but I cannot change that. And what you can do, according to Shadow Drake, is you can launch a rocket from here and land it on a different launch mount. And since you can actually get materials, can actually put materials in there with a chute system, for example, you can use these to transport stuff from one place to another. But it will waste a ton of fuel, so that's not necessarily efficient. But that's possible, it can be done. Okay, so that's what you need. You need the launch mount. And then the first thing that you build, maybe I should just build another one right next to it, and then I can dismantle it again, so they get feeling for this, yeah? So copy steel frame. This is not a creative mode tutorial, so... or should I explain that for short? I mean, if you start a new game, you can select creative mode, and then you can press the key that is appropriate for that. You can find the... oh shit, what's with the music? Lake fire. So we can see in the controls, far down we see creative mode, and there's multiple buttons here, but you only need two. You need the button for showing the menu where you can select which item you will spawn. And I reassigned that to this one. I have a German keyboard, so that's not, you know, it's completely different. Just don't think about the actual key here. Just think about the function. You want to show the dynamic panel, which is the menu. The dynamic panel is the menu. And you want to spawn an item. So I will now press that key. Here is the dynamic panel, and we can use Alt to get the mouse pointer back. Now we have the whole list. I can select stuff from this, or I can filter it down, and then I can select something which is then henceforth what I would spawn, or I can click here to immediately spawn that. But let's see if that also selects it. So I'm gonna spawn this now. Now we'll click the spawn button on my keyboard, spawn key. That was the wrong one. Aha, so if I say spawn this thing now, it will also implicitly select it. Good to know. Then there's the authoring tool. That's the most important thing that you need to know for the creative mode, because, I mean, apart from this menu and the key, because the authoring tool makes working so much faster. For example, I'm using C, I mean it's R for me, but I've swapped R and C. I'm pressing that key to get this option, delete. I also have the option copy, so I can click here. That's F for me. I'm sorry, you have to, I mean there's only like 3 or 4 key combinations that, you know, exist for general Stationeers use, and just try those then, you know. So in this way I can copy, and copy doesn't mean it will spawn that, but I can say copy, and so I can now place steel frames. And if I want to complete these, I can just click on them. See, if I keep holding down a slow progress bar, will then deconstruct again, so it's easy to stop in time. Now you know how creative mode works. Another thing about creative mode, your jetpack will never run out. That's good to know. I just filled this so that my slots will not swallow anything that I want to teleport here. Right mouse button teleports items, that's the truth in every mode, and it's in the game because I suggested it. That's a fact, with 99% certainty. Okay, so we need a launch mount. I mean, bear with me, just don't think about how would I know this, how would I know this, how do I use the rocket manufacturer, what materials does it use, and so forth and so on. Instead, let's just go with how would you build the basic thing of a rocket so that you have some rocketry, and then you can start figuring things out yourself. And that's what I also did. I just watched part of Shadow Drake's video to get over the hump, and then I continue myself, because this is like the last front I have left here to discover, and so I don't want other people to spoil that for me, and so I suggest you do the same. And this video will not get you far except if you keep following. I mean, maybe I'm gonna figure this out, who knows. So now I have the launch mount selected. There is no other tool here. We can see here I cannot place it because I need 4 frames. 0 out of 4 frames are present. Here we see 1 out of 4 frames, here we see 2 out of 4 frames, and in the middle we see 4 out of 4 frames. And I'm pretty sure that these can also be full. It's just like with plants who need a minimum amount of darkness. You don't need more darkness or more light, it's always a minimum amount. So this is now fulfilled, and we can build this. It's not yet complete, so let's continue and continue and no, that was it. It's 2 steps. And now we can build the rocket, and the rocket is always built with a fuselage. And you can actually look for this rocket. There's a little article in here, rockets. Might also be here in the homepage, I don't know. It's not, okay? Guides, oh yeah, it is here in the guides section. Rockets. Rocket parts are printed on the rocket manufacturer. We kinda know that. Fuselage type A1, let's forget the type A1, must be built upon a launch mount. A pumped gas engine must be placed in an engine mount. That's not true, it can also be a pressure-fed engine. So the description there is oddly specific, you know. So let's select the fuselage then. Fuselage. Now we see that the different fuselages that exist is different kits. Maybe I want to look at them in the Stationpedia because that makes it more convenient to switch between them. So this is type 1. Let's go to the kit. And here you see what you can build. The first thing would be the engine mount that you have to build. At the bottom, this little ring. You already saw that on my rocket, I think. And then we have these other ones, which I don't know if they're actually different because I don't have enough experience with them, though I think the difference between these two is only decorative. This might also be the case here and here, but here we have one with doors. I don't know how relevant those are or if I can open them. Then we have the fairing, that's the tip. And by the way, if you build a fuselage, that will contribute to the rocket's weight, 250 kilograms. That's something also that I know because of Shadow Drake. Same here, that this contributes not at all. So yeah, anyway, you want to put a fairing on this thing, that's the tip. So this one first, then some of these, and finally this one of these. I believe the difference is only decorative, except for this one. So let's pick the engine mount. engine mount. Oh right, that would be a fuselage. Oh, I'm not done yet. What about the other fuselage kits? I mean, that was A1. Let's look at A2 then. The kit. Where's the kit? Kit. Oh right, it's the same kit. Okay, let's look for the kit fuselage then. Kit fuselage. And what do we find? It's only one. Oh, okay. I thought there were multiple. Oh, never mind then. Now I have to choose what I want to build. Why are there multiple fuselage kits here, though? Type A, Type B, Type C? Is this a bigger one or something? No. I mean, you see that, right? They're different. This is C1. Why is that not in here? C5, A4. Seems awfully random how these things are in here. Kit fuselage Type C. Or just... Oh, okay. I think what we're seeing is once again historic. There's just one kit fuselage which can build all of them. And then there's also some specific ones that I cannot even access. Alright, so it's really pretty simple. Fuselage. It's just the system seems confusing, but isn't. So we pick this one, then I turn the wheel, and then we can see we have these different kinds. And this is the one with the door. I'm curious for that one. And then we have the fairing and the other fairings. Alright, so let's build the engine mount then. It's the only thing I can build here. A fuselage must be constructed on top of another fuselage. And this one, the engine mount, does count as a fuselage. Engine mount. Now we have it. One step. Okay, so one step construction. Now immediately build the door thing so we get some new knowledge here. Ah, so that's what this is. There is, by the way, already, at least in the works, a crew module, but it's not yet spawnable, and that's one of these brand new things. Crew... Oh, it's no longer listed here. Maybe... or was it here? Crew module, yeah. If I click here, I can visit the page, yes. But if I copy the name, I cannot do what I can normally do, which is thing, spawn, and paste. Doesn't work. It's not actually there yet. But I assume that's one of the things that you have to put in here then, and then you can enter the rocket and fly into orbit yourself. And that is how we will get to our orbital places to build the orbital stations, is what I assume. I still don't know why we would build those, other than you have to consider gravity. According to Shadow Drake, gravity plays a strong role when it comes to building a rocket and how much fuel you need and so forth. And also that the moon-like worlds like Mimas and the Moon are the easiest because, apart from the space map, which is no longer available, because they have the lowest gravity. Other worlds like Mars are easy still, but Vulcan and Venus are really just regurgitating what I just heard in Shadow Drake's video. They are the hardest because of the high gravity. So, but Mars should be fine for experimentation, and so that's what I chose. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's delete all of this and focus... Oh, that happens? And focus on the main rocket. Then we have the engine. And for that we have the pumped liquid engine. That's the one that I chose. No, I chose the pressure-fed... I chose the pressure-fed liquid engine. There's also the pressure-fed gas engine and the pumped gas rocket engine. I don't know, the word rocket I believe doesn't belong here. It's just a typo, I guess, where they didn't remember their own standards. Maybe because it was the first one they ever built, and then the rest came and then I forgot about it or something. Who knows? Anyway, so we have two engine types. one for liquid fuel, one for gas fuel. And of these, we have two variants. One is fed by pumping something into it, and the other just runs on pressure. For simplicity's sake, so I don't have so many parts to contend with, I chose pressure-fed. And maybe I should have chosen pressure-fed gas engine and would already be in orbit. That may well be the case. But I chose pressure-fed liquid engine, so what is the problem with that? The problem is, here I made myself a bunch of fuel by using the add gas command that maybe not everybody knows, so let's show you that also, because since we are working creative here, we want to know that. Add gas. I mean, you can type help when you get all of this stuff, and you of course know the orbit command. Now we have orbit timescale, you can see that on screen here, you cannot see the mouse. Orbit timescale 0 is currently what we have, because I said it, I did this to stop the orbital simulation. I want to have eternal day here so that I can build and possibly record. But we want to know about thing spawn. Okay, that's what we also know already. For example, item authoring tool. Item authoring tool. Which you of course can also just spawn just with the creative tool menu here. Author. There it is. But now the add gas command, you can see here that with the Atmos cartridge, I can look at the tank and I will not see the tank's ID. If I look at the pipe, I will see the pipe's ID, 4562. With the authoring tool, I'll also see 45... Oh, what? Right, with the authoring tool, I see the actual identity of this pipe. But that's still enough. I can add gas to this pipe, which will add gas to the volume that it belongs to, which is this volume. And here we can also see with the authoring tool, not with the Atmos scanner, the ID here. And so then I said add gas, oxygen 4753, blah blah blah. So that works like this: add gas. Then it will tell you have to add the type, add gas oxygen with an uppercase O. And then it will need the target, so I will give a fantasy target, and then it will still show me that. Oh, and then the amount. Let's say 1, which is 1 mole. And then it will say unknown ID. Yeah, because I don't want to actually add some gas right now. Or should we? I mean, for testing purposes, passive vent. That's what I normally use when I want to fill some room in creative with some gas. I mean, one way is to just spawn some oxygen tanks and then deconstructing them. I mean, the portable tank can't, you know, because then all the oxygen will come out, but careful, that might throw you at the wall. 7162, add gas, oxygen, 7162, 100 moles, go. Ah, something happened, so 1000 moles then. So 10,000 moles then. That could have destroyed my suit. So 100,000 moles then. Oh, that was a typo. Yeah, and so you can use that thing. There's one thing that's missing though. Everything that you add currently is added at 20 degrees Celsius. Even if I add gas, liquid oxygen, because that's the thing, that will be added at 20 degrees. And so I did that with this tank, and then I saw how it got colder and colder and colder. Why? Because what's in there is liquid oxygen, but at temperature 20 degrees, where it would not be liquid, so it evaporated. And in Stationeers, just like in reality, if something evaporates, it cools down. And conversely, if it compresses, it will heat up. So you can add the temperature, though the temperature is added in Celsius. So if I would do this, that would be redundant, because you know that 273.15 is 0 degrees Celsius. 273.15 Kelvin, not degrees Kelvin, we don't say that. Kelvin, 273.15 Kelvin is 0 degrees Celsius. And so then I added a lot of gas in here, volatiles, liquid volatiles, and then eventually also liquid oxygen. The volatiles were really the decider when it comes to how cold I could make this, because they freeze at about minus 191 degrees Celsius. Oxygen can be even colder before it freezes, and so we certainly have more gas form oxygen in here than gas form volatiles, obviously, because the oxygen is just pretty much warmer than it needs to be. But the overall temperature needs to be like this, else I will have ice in there. I don't want this. But okay, about phase change in Stationeers, if there is a pipe which has liquids inside of them, preferably a liquid pipe, because they don't bother, they can take gas, they can take liquid, it doesn't matter, but their max pressure is 6 megapascals. But we get 60 megapascals max pressure for gas pipes, but those cannot stand liquids, only a slight bit, and then they begin to break. And that's a game balancing issue, and I know that people complain about this, and I see where they're coming from, but they should also see that game balancing is an important thing. And just having one pipe type and just going along with it, I mean, it might seem like an unnecessary complication, but I think it is a nice addition to the gameplay. It is a mixture of complication and complexity, I think, not just complication. Anyway, so if we have a container and there is liquid inside, then that will off-gas it will evaporate into gas, yes. Let's say, for example, we take oxygen, or we can also look for liquid oxygen, doesn't matter, because we want to look at the phase change diagram, and that is obviously identical, it's the very same. You can see here vertically we have the pressure axis where the mouse is moving, vertical, and so you can see here that's the current crosshair pressure, which is infinity. And here we are at 3 megapascals, and here we are at only 14 kilopascals, and here we are at 6 kilopascals, because it's a logarithmic scale. But now it's linear. Now it's linear. But most practical is the default, which is logarithmic. Anyway, you can see that down here, at a pressure of below 6.3 kilopascals for a liquid oxygen, it would be gaseous. And therefore, when we have a container with liquid in it, or even with ice in it, doesn't matter, if the pressure is 0 kilopascals in that pipe, then there will be some gas afterwards that will then have evaporated from the ice or from the liquid, and that of course would have made it colder. Anyway, so you can, okay, how is this to be understood? How is this to be read? Well, this is a volume. Volume means space. You can put stuff in there because there's room, and there's like outer space, or it's like your open hands or your mouth in which you can put stuff. It's a container, a volume. And this volume can contain 278 liters. Liters doesn't mean amount of water, but liters is a volume measure. For example, water at a certain temperature, 1 liter of water is equivalent to 1 liter of this. But if you have if you take the same amount of water and you heat it up, then the volume will be different. So taking 1 liter of water doesn't mean that you have 1 liter of volume. Except, well, if you're saying 1 liter of water, then yeah, that's the volume that it has. I mean, 1 liter of water is a volume measure. So logically, it would seem that if we have like 1 trillion degrees hot water, then 1 liter of that will only be 3.5 molecules or something. That's how it should work, because liters is a volume measure. So we can see here what volume these pipes together can take, and this one has a capacity of 5,000 liters, this one a capacity of 300 liters. But they also have a pressure limit. That is sadly not written here. So let's look for pipes. I wish they were written there, because they would just be consistent. Gas pipes, maximum pressure 60 megapascals, and I already said liquid pipes 6 megapascals, 1/10 of this. And you can see here the volume, that's 10 liters, the liquid pipe volume is 20 liters, and yeah. So we have the maximum volume capacity, and we have the maximum pressure capacity. If you would add another pipe, that would naturally add something to the volume, and so then you could put more gas into it. Let's say we have one pipe here, that would be this and this amount of gas, and would result in this and this amount of pressure. But if I add another pipe, I have doubled the volume, which means that when it comes to pressure, half the amount of gas is in there, because the gas is now spread out. That's the relationship. If I put more gas in there, I will have more pressure, except if I also increase the volume. And so for this space that we have here, the liquid fuel that I have in here, evaporated, primarily the oxygen, because it's more eager to do so, because its freezing point is lower, much lower than the volatile's freezing point, evaporated into gaseous oxygen. And then at some point the pipe was satisfied, there was high enough pressure so that now we are at a higher point in the phase vertically. You remember the phase change diagram? The vertical axis is the pressure, so that the pressure is high enough so that not more gas evaporates. But that is the reason that the pressure fed into our pressure-fed liquid engine is low. We have a low pressure that is going into the engine, and now I'm wondering, should I just use a liquid volume pump to pump liquids into a pipe, and then maybe the pressure will be high enough for this rocket to lift off. So let's try that. Now let me explain a few more things about the rocket, because you need to know some more essentials to build one. And these, again, thanks to Shadow Drake, I know these. What you do need, and that's what I knew, you need an umbilical. Umbilical, you know that probably from System Shock 2, for example, where there was an essential part of the story where the two ships connected with an umbilical, I believe. And from rocketry in general, that's where these cables or pipes or hoses are dangling between the rocket and the towers. Here, that is just a straight pipe or a straight cable. And what you have to do to get gas and whatever into this rocket is you have to have an umbilical. So let's look at the umbilical, and there we can see we have one for liquids. That's the one that you see here. We have one for gas, one for power, and one for chute. Let's take the chute one, because I haven't seen that one yet, and also that's the one that we have probably the hardest time imagining. Here by the way, this is my little power plant, 100 kilowatts with the Creative RTG, 4 kilowatts. There's also a survival one that has 600 watts, but I believe the survival gameplay doesn't have any way of spawning these. Anyway. Other than, of course, cheating, because thing spawn, the command thing spawn also works in the survival modes. Okay, let's look at this thing. And the kit has the straight one, where the arrow comes, where we have the chute on that side where the arrow is. And here we have the actual umbilical connector. That's the unnatural looking thing. I mean, we are used to many things in Stationeers. For example, we are used to what chutes look like, and this looks like a chute. I don't know why there's an arrow here piping in that direction, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, that looks normal and that doesn't. So that's probably the new special rocket technology thing, and yeah, that's what it is. This thing has to point towards the outside, towards the tower, so that you can connect the umbilical. That is what this is. And then there's a variant of this that goes around the corner. Because of how you have to build your rocket, you might want to place it here, or you might want to place it there, and so you have the choice to do it like this. And then we have the counterpart. This one belongs in the tower. And there's another thing here that you have to consider. I will just demonstrate that with the chute. So we place the chute, not like this, but like this. Where do I place it? Oh, I can place it anywhere within the rocket volume, which is a 3x3 according to Shadow Drake. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 3x3. And in the middle, no, I don't have more radius. It is really just a square. It's 3x3. So it doesn't matter where I place that here. Really doesn't, except when it comes to building your rocket, how you want to design it, how you want to optimize things. Anyway, now I can place that here in any location, but let's take the one that's closest to the tower, obviously. So it's here now. Do I have to build more? No, it's already complete. And now I need to build the counterpart, and the counterpart has to be built according to the following rules. Well, first of all, the tower can be built at greater distances also. I don't know what the maximum distance is, but it can be built at greater distances. And for that, you can then also, let's copy the tower. You can then also build a bridge. Oh, I thought it was part of the tower. Which can be retracted. And I think it doesn't have to be built with towers or with a... I think you can also build that as a normal part of your station. So so we'd have a platform that it can retract, which is pretty cool. I don't know how close the tower can be built as close as this, because it has to be built, I'm not 100% convinced, though no one told me, but it seems logical, that it has to be built in the same horizontal space, in the same horizontal place. Okay, now for the umbilical that I want to place, it has to be built in the following way. You can see this arrow here, right? Wrong. This arrow is just like this arrow, the normal shoot part. This is not the special rocketry part. Let's turn this around. This is how this needs to look like. And here we can see some little opening. And by the way, on the back side, where it is now correctly placed, we can see some more controls. There's some button here in the middle of this video screen, and slightly to the right of it there's a connector for power, and there's a switch on top of the an off and off switch on top of the trigger, and then there is some shoot connection, which is at the horizontal center where the cable is. So that's how you have to place this, and you have to place that vertically in the right place. If I put that here, that won't work. I can see that already. How can I see that already? Well, not just by using this trick, but also by something I will tell you now, which I also know. Thanks to Shadow Drake's video. And that is, look at the horizontal placement of this special rocketry part thing. In this kind of, well, let me just place it. Ah, look, it moved automatically to align with this. And that's pretty cool what Rocketworks did there. If I cable this up now, I can push the button and then will extend to this place. Maybe I should even do this so that we get some whiff of this. I mean, there's still space up there, right? Yeah, let's cable it up. Copy. Yeah, I think I can actually build through this. Not through all these cable box kind of things, but through a naked cable, which is still something I would try to avoid, but this is me still learning how it works, so yeah. See, that's how it works with the umbilicals. So you have now learned some of the most important things here. You start with the launch mount, so they can build a rocket, and that they can build multiple of these, because you can fly from here to there with one rocket. You need the can I select this? Yeah, you need the engine mount. Yes, that's part of the fuselage kit, and then you can build rocket cylinders on top of it, which are part of the same kit. And so that the rocket flies, you need an engine. The engine needs to be powered. Let me just demonstrate that. I will just delete this. I haven't seen this myself yet, because I just blindly connected it. It is not listed here, so yeah. Okay, now we have learned a bit about the rocket building. I will talk about this further, but what's more important now is how do you even control the rocket? There are some things that you need to put into your rocket, and that would be, you need the avionics, and you need the downlink. The downlink makes it possible for your computer to see it and to control it. And the avionics, I don't know what they are good for, actually. I mean, avionics sounds like the flight control, like, right? Avionics are switched. Oh, well, they're switched off. Haha, you can see what they would do. They give you some information. So all the values. I don't know if they also do something or if they only give you information. No idea. But anyway, I think you want to put them in there. Particularly as a beginner, which I am. I would definitely put something in there if someone tells me that you need to. So we have the avionics in here and that, and we have some batteries in here. They are special rocket batteries, and I have learned also via Shadow Drake's video that the best way to place them actually is here at the tip. Because, I mean, you need power everywhere in your rocket, and let me just copy one of these. If I place one, there's also the small one, which has less weight. This is, I believe, 10 kilograms, and this one is 20 kilograms. If you look at them, you can see that it has a connector there on the left. That is logic, which I haven't yet used, but it is so. I have only connected it. At the top we have the input, that's where the power comes in. At the bottom we have where the power comes out. And I mean, that screams like, put the things at the top. And I placed them here as high as I could, -1. Because as high as I could would have meant up here. But I need to feed a cable into them. And so I placed 4 of these up here, with the logic side facing to the center, where you also have the on-off switch, but you don't need to operate the on-off switch, and also by default they will be on anyway, because you can operate that from here. Once you have the uplink, yep. Actually, let me just see what happens if I disconnect the logic cable here in the middle. If I can actually get there. Oh, there it is. Shit. Delete. Now I should not be able to control the batteries, I think. But I can. Oh, now that's a bit disturbing. I mean, why can I control them? What does the logic connector actually do? You can tell I'm taking screenshots again. In case this turns out to be a bug, I want to report it. Because I want those shit gone. Yeah, maybe that is only for your own programming, but anyway, here we have the power. Oh, there's also a power connection. That doesn't seem right. Another screenshot. I mean, who knows how thoroughly these parts of the game have been tested? How many people are actually building rockets? I will now finally also begin to belong to those people, and that's cool. Why is it going up there? What's that? Why is it showing me that I can connect? Oh, it's a green plus. What am I saying? Of course, yeah, it's fine. Not a bug. So I placed these batteries at the very top, -1, so I could place the cables up here, and then next to my batteries, I could also have placed it here, but I chose here. This slot is now empty. Yeah, let's use wider field of view, which gives us a stronger 3D-ness impression, so we can tell more easily what's going on. So I have the downlink and the avionics, and somewhere here I also have the power umbilical. I don't know where exactly that is. Oh, it's up there. Yeah, it's at the tip, actually. So let's connect that so we can see that. Oh, it connects to the cable? Oh! Here I cheated because I realized that I can place the umbilical connectors also deep in the rocket. So I placed the umbilical connector for the power inside the tip here and surrounded it with the heavy cables. I don't know if they actually have some weight, I don't think so. Which connect all the batteries and connect to the on the back side here, I think. That's a 4-way corner, this is a 3-way corner, this is a 3-way corner, and this is a 3-way junction, and this is a 4-way corner. See, this one connects to the center where the power umbilical is. And so I use basically a cheat here. This umbilical can step through this part and connect here. And I think that's relatively fine, since the cable in front of here it's a cable. So yeah, why shouldn't that kind of work, quasi, so to speak? So I believe it's optimal use of space, maybe not optimal use of weight. Obviously I'm overbuilding, I just want to get this show on the road, and so I put as many batteries in here as I could, as much power as I could. So then we have that connected to my power station, and so they charge up. And I think they charge up slowly. That's actually why I placed these batteries here. At first I had these guys over here feeding directly into the rocket and directly into my machines. For acoustic flavor I placed these guys here. Yeah, well, they charge up slowly, and I placed these batteries here to find out the charge speed, so I could also study that at some point, and also how much charge they have. I believe I have a... I don't? Network analyzer, plant analyzer, I need the configuration cartridge, and I need a tablet. And what color will I give this one? I don't know. Configuration cartridge. I don't know, man. Gray. It's an apparatus automatism thing. Oh, gray, motionless. Okay, so let's see. What charge do these have? 3.6 million. These have 9 million, I mean, let's just say 9. And these have 3.6 million, so they are like a small station battery, each of these. Nice. So what else did I build? The batteries in here, which give power to these guys, because without that... Oh, hey, wait. Did I not switch that battery back on? Oh, one of the batteries is off. I must accidentally have clicked it. On, and on. Let's see if it looks on now. This one looked on, that one looked on. Yeah, it's synchronous. Yep. I assume that if I turn all of them off, then the avionics will not have power. That should express visibly on the left side. Let's see. First turn on and off the avionics to see the difference once more. Okay, now turn off the batteries. 1, 2, 3, and... Aha! So after a game tick delay, there will actually be not any power in the avionics. What if I turn off all batteries and feed the engine? Nothing's happening. So the engines are power/logic control. I wonder how much power they consume. I mean, do they consume power? Pressure-fed liquid engine. Oh, I didn't even read this text yet. 20 watts. Highly efficient and powerful, the pressure-fed liquid engine is a challenging engine to run. Okay, I guess I printed the hardest one first. I mean used, I didn't print anything. To run in a stable configuration. Liquid is pulled from the input into the engine based on the input gas pressure. Ah, so my assumption is probably correct. I need to increase the gas pressure. What happens if I just use a volume pump? What would happen then? Oh, I don't know. Let's try both. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. That's what this video is for. Some gas is also moved in this process, so Stationeers, that's us, will need to devise a system to maintain a high gas pressure in the liquid input engine. Liquid is pulled from the input into the engine based on the... Yeah. The second liquid pipe connection is an optional heat exchanger connection. Oh, yeah. Which exchanges heat between the pipe contents and the engine bell. The setting variable drives the effectiveness of the heat exchanger. God damn it, what? Oh, I connected both, because I didn't know. What is this? This is the liquid fuel input, and this is... This is the heat exchanger liquid input. Aha. Not something I necessarily want to use right now, as I have no clue what I'm doing. Okay, so that would still pressure feed the engine, I presume. It does, and the world shaketh. And I'm waking up to the music once more. I do that too rarely. I guess I'm annoying with the music oftentimes, huh? Sorry about that. Only one mind. Too many mind, huh? You know, like in... although I don't know what exactly they meant. They mean ego problems? Don't think about what the other people are thinking of your fighting moves now in Last Samurai? Or were they thinking... was that referring to you're focusing on too many things? Focus on one thing. I don't know. Okay, go back to engine. That music fits better. The second pipe connection is optional heat exchanger and so forth. So it's the pressure-fed liquid engine, uses 20 watts, something we learned now. Let's look for the pump engine. Pumped liquid engine. Liquid propellants bring greater efficiencies with pumped liquid engine. Two inputs are provided so Stationeers can separate their fuels. Oh, so they're mixed in there. Oh, that's cool. Cool, very cool. The setting variable controls the mixing ratio of the inputs. Why would I do that? Why would I not just pump weaker? Or is it not an option? The engine is designed to run on liquid volatiles and liquid oxygen. Some Stationeers have reported excessive thrust values by switching to liquid nitrous oxide. Something that I wanted to do first, but, well, abstained for it was too volatile, so I used volatiles instead. Then we have the gas engine, the pressure-fed gas engine. Inefficient, but very powerful, the pressure-fed gas engine moves gas from each of its two inputs based on the pressure of the input pipes. Control the mixing ratio of fuels by tweaking the input pressure, so that means that the temperature of your gases will also matter, because you know, that will determine their pressure. You know? By the mixing ratio of fuels by tweaking the input pressures to target a 2:1 mix of volatiles to oxygen gas. Chilling propellant gases or using nitrous oxide as an oxidizer will result in even higher thrust outputs. Chilling propellant gases, why? Maybe because then they have a lower volume. I don't understand. Maybe they're heating up in there, then they're expanding, and that causes there to be more thrust. Who knows? I don't know what's going on there. I mean, because the hotter the gas is, the lower the temperature gradient between whatever heat is down there and the actual gas. So the heating up effect will be lower, and so the expansion will be weaker. Then on the other hand, the amount of heat available is limited, so I don't know how that actually works. So now with the pumped gas engine, the most reliable of all the rocket engines, the pumped gas engine runs on a 2:1 mix of volatiles to oxygen gas. And I presume you can also use the nitrous oxide and volatiles mix, though I think that if you pump that it will become liquid anyway, so that might actually not work. Structure governed gas engine as opposed to structure pressure fed gas engine. And then we have the what's happening? Why is the liquid one not showing up? The pressure-fed liquid engine is called structure pressure-fed liquid engine, and the pumped one is structure pumped liquid engine. So you can see here they have established a system, but the gas engines, at least one of them, had some kind of random-ish seeming name, or like governed, where you're saying, well, this one's just pressure-fed and this one, we actually pumped that, so this one is governed. We are controlling this guy. And then they realigned their abstractions in their head further when they went over to thinking about liquid engines, and that's when the ultimate name scheme was established thoroughly. That's how I read that. So we have currently basically the hardest or second hardest engine. Pressure-fed liquid engine. Highly efficient and powerful, the pressure-fed is a challenging engine to run, okay. What about the liquid engine that is pumped? This sounds like this one, the description, as if that's a step up from the gas engine. Like the next step from the gas engine is this one, because that's what this sounds like. Liquid propellants bring greater efficiency with pumped liquid engine. Oh wait. No, actually I would rather say that the pressure fed is the one that's the step up from the gas engines. So that's the one I have right now. Anyway, so what we need is, we need a pump here. I will try a liquid volume pump and see if that does anything meaningful. So delete. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that should pass. It's just a little bit of gas exploding. Just what was down here. I mean, the engine mount, as we saw earlier when the thing exploded, seems to have some volume. Does it? No, it doesn't. What about the engine itself then? Pressure-fed liquid engine. Does it have a volume? Max thrust, rocket mass contribution. No, it doesn't seem to have a volume, or that's just not written here, which can happen. Efficiency. Oh, let's look at the efficiencies. Engine. Rocket engine tiny? Is that a thing we can even print? Well, let's see if I can spawn that. I will get back to the engine soon enough. Thing, spawn, paste. Oh, that cannot be spawned, so I guess that's just typical historic Stationeers stuff in the history of Stationeers somewhere. Maybe it's part of the old rockets before the rocket employed this new concept where you have to place the devices in there and are building them properly, which is pretty cool. And that's actually how we will build the nuclear power reactors once they are in the game. That's what the developers already said. Fed engine. Pressure fed that gives us all the rocket engines. Does it? Pressure fed. No, it doesn't. Okay, so the pressure fed liquid engine. Efficiency 160%. The pressure fed gas engine. Efficiency 96%. Now the pumped liquid engine gives us 140%, which is lower, so I currently have actually the highest efficiency engine. And then we have the pumped gas engine, 100%. So the weakest one is the pressure-fed gas engine. The pressure-fed gas engine, 96. I mean, it's almost 100, who cares? The pumped gas engine is 100%. Then we have the pumped liquid engine, 140%, and the pressure-fed one, the one I'm using, 160%. Didn't you know that? And the other ones, max thrust and so forth, I wonder if they are different. Would be cool to have a table on screen right now, huh? Maybe at one point I should do an actual rocket tutorial where I list all that on a table on screen so you can compare them with one glance and make decisions and such, like I've done in the past with batteries and so forth. That sounds like a good thing to pursue. Anyway, I want to replace some pipe here, delete. And then I want a pump, volume pump. Not a pimp. If I could make a pimp here, that would be cool. Liquid volume pump, turbo volume pump. Yeah, let's use a turbo volume pump, which has the highest pump power, which is ridiculous to use here. But hey, we wanna fuck around to find out, right? There's a problem here though, because I cannot get the cables there. Remember, 3 by 3. This one is already occupying 2, and horizontally also 2. So I cannot get the cables around to this thing, or can I? I don't think a cable can go through the umbilical socket. I would assume that's not possible. So I cannot logic control this, which is not a problem, but this means that I cannot access it. Okay, what am I saying? It's a turbo volume pump. I can flip it around. Like this. Okay. Copy. Connect. It is now connected, yes. Let's be a bit vain about this also. And pump it in that direction. Wait, no, pump it in that direction. Haha. At full power. If I turn this on now... Yeah, this is not what I want right now. I can probably control that. Actually, yeah, good question. Is this available here now? Probably not. Turbo volume pump liquid. I can access this here. Well, in my headphones I just heard this thing turning on. I don't know if you also heard that, but I'm pretty sure I heard that. Let's see what the pressure is here. Here we have 18 liters, and here we have 18 liters. So I guess maybe the liquid volume pump will not do much to what I want to do. But anyway, let's find out if we could cable this up. That is important to know. No, the cable does not go through there. At the bottom here, I currently do not have them. Oh, look at that. I could actually do that. Not that it's necessary, but we could. And that's the kind of Tetris that you have to play here when you're building rockets. I assume that this is not changed now. So let's save and see if we can power the rocket up a bit more, huh? And turn on the volume pump. Oh, motherfucker. Hello! I have a flying rocket! We have a flying rocket, for you all know now how that works. Open UE. We can see, thanks to Shadow Drake's video, I know that before the rocket is where it will go, there will be a countdown here, but I assume it's already there. So let's turn off this. Let's see. Oxidizer, we can see here that this is pumped out quickly. Let's turn the turbo volume pump off. Ah, look at that. And let's turn off the engine also. And the altitude is 7,000 meters. And it is slowing down. It should, because I mean it's not infinitely far away, so gravity should slow it down. Is it slowing down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it is slowing down, definitely. Will it fall down again then? Oh, it is falling down again. Oh, look at that. Impact. 64 seconds. No. So the rocket is now falling, but no, it's not. Impact velocity. Impact velocity minus 150 meters would mean that it is flying at 150 meters per second, right? So it's flying away. Why then is there a countdown here where it will impact? I don't know that. Anyway, is it on location now? No, it's... I don't know, where is it? Where is the rocket? Did I not set the target or something? Set destination. Location. Rocket 1. In Mars orbit. Is it in orbit now? No. None. Oh, I see what's happening. Insulated liquid pipe was destroyed due to overpressure. So maybe I should turn around, huh? Oh yes. I think I should turn around. Is it a star or is that a rocket that is coming down again? I would assume it's a rocket because I believe to see 2 diagonal pixels, as in that's... oh yeah, okay. I will back away slowly. So that can happen. That it lands exactly here is a bit annoying, but then again, where's it supposed to land? 3 meters over... 3 meters over here? Or 500 kilometers over there? Where is it supposed to land, huh? So the tower was destroyed. But the explosion is now has now run its course, I think. Yeah, so we just had a rocket that went into orbit, and what is that stuff here? Liquid volatiles, which just chose to explode, I guess. Oh, it's 2000 degrees, 3000 degrees, yeah, so we're not looking good. I mean, basically the entire air is on fire so hot you cannot see the flames, if I understand correctly. Yeah, that was actually an elating experience, wasn't it? I mean, just, okay, maybe I mean, I kind of had a hunch that this would work. Honestly, I did not know. This is really just the recording of me finding out how rockets work, except some certain things. I mean, just like I described. Why am I repeating this? Okay, now you know how to do this. You know how to basically get a rocket, and I would now continue experimenting with this, but that might actually keep you watching, right? Which is also the idea of a video. I mean, I make the video. There's a few more minutes here, so I want you to watch them. In principle, that's why I would record them. So I would want you to be spoiled. Shouldn't we just shut this down right now, so the video is also not so very long? I would say yes. That was a successful experience, apart from it exploding. Okay, maybe one more thing. I should actually see what happens if I don't go all out on the pressure. Do we arrive in orbit? Because that's certainly a question that you have. Why should you build an entire rocket just to get that question answered? So let's do that also. But not the entire rocket science. I will use that in my survival playthroughs, I guess. God damn it, I made a rocket that is flying. Ah, come on, only remembers like 10 commands. Orbit times scale 0. Yeah, so that turbo volume pump seems a bit overdressed, but how about I decrease the pressure then? And also, can I possibly control the turbo volume pump from down here? Could I possibly create now something that controls this thing with logic? I mean, I know I can turn it off with this computer, but I could also control the power and the direction. I mean, the direction really doesn't make sense. You know, I could build something here but how could I control this thing? Well, there is an IC housing for rockets. But I don't need this, I can also control it from the ground, right? But for that I would have to have access to this thing. Can I have access to this thing though? What about a logic transmitter? Can that be placed here? No, it needs to be placed on something else. A logic transmitter would allow me to assign this pump and then communicate with it. But I cannot. Yeah, which makes me wonder, is there any way ever to control the devices from the ground? Good question. Now let me just show again how fucked up and bad the AIs are. Let's take ChatGPT with its its weird speaking and breathing rhythm thing, and just ask. Hey, I'm building a rocket in Stationeers with a new rocketry system, and I wonder, is there a way to logically control a device that I have assembled in the rocket? I mean, I know I can place an IC-10 in there on its special housing and so forth, but is there any way to transmit data and to receive any data from individual devices on the rocket? Tell me.
That's a cool project. In Stationeers, you can indeed use the IC systems to control and monitor devices. You can set up an IC network within your rocket and use various sensors and controllers. You can also use the IC-10 to transmit data between different components. If you have specific devices in mind, I can help you with more detailed info.
How do I transmit the data to the ground?
So to transmit data to the ground, you can use the IC network in combination with a transmitter. One common method is to have a radio transmitter or a satellite uplink on your rocket. You can then program...
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't know if any of that is true. I have had horrible experiences with the quality of the mobile app versions of AIs. On the web, that's better. But anyway, transmitter is a nice keyword. Let's see if there's such a thing as a transmitter. Transmitter. Power, power, power. Oh, I used that keyword earlier, huh? Network. Yeah, I guess the thing is just full of shit. But then again, well, I don't know. I don't know how this works. Didn't expect to have knowledgeable answer on Stationeers. It just, you know, spontaneously wanted that. Okay. I don't know if we can control this guy. Let's turn it down to the weakest power. And did I actually let the thing fly without its shell? Is that what I did? Let's see. Turn on the engine. Too bad we cannot use the rocket user interface. Oh, I like this. Okay, fine. Okay, that doesn't seem to be strong enough. This is a problem. I cannot control the thing. Oh, it's flying! Wow, it's flying! ETA to orbit, 30 seconds. And now it's... okay, insulated liquid pipe was destroyed, and that is when the countdown stopped. -1 as an invalid value or something. Since it didn't fly very high, it should actually fall down rather quickly, shouldn't it? So that's a problem, but I used a liquid pump. Maybe I should use some gas source to increase the gas power in the liquid pipe network. And I can do that not with a pump, but with a pressurant valve. The what was its name? So make the kit So the kit pressure regulator has the pressure regulator, which we all know, such a thing is also built into the active vent. Then we have the back pressure regulator, same thing. Then we have the, it's also built into the passive vent. Then we have the pressurant valve, which is the one that I would need here. And we have the purge valve, which can be used to remove gases from a pipe, which will of course then cool the pipe down, which is one way to cool your station, by the way. Pretty more sophisticated than the stuff I've been using so far. Will there not be a rocket landed here or at some point, man? How far is this guy? Oh yeah, okay, now it's beginning to fall. So that was pretty much close to orbit, but then it was destroyed, I guess. Still in mid-flight. "15 seconds. Yeah, it's falling. What just happened? Oh yeah. There should be a big boom, a big bada boom. Yeah, it was just doing some atmospheric calculations, I guess. So now we have more materials it can burn. I want to see the world burn. Well, I guess we have to do some more rocket science here, but I mean, you know the drill. The more I show you here, as in the more I figure out and you see that works and so forth, the less you will have the rocketry science experience. So, if I were you, I would turn this off now, man. Okay, so what I want now is I want to use a pressurant valve instead of this dude. Delete. Then the pressurant valve could actually be, let's see. This is where that comes in and goes through and should stay like this, I believe. Copy. And then up here, I would have the pressurant valve. which allows to pump gas into a liquid pipe network, and that pressure that I put in there is the pressure that drives the process. I wonder if it's interesting that I can just have these extended and the rocket would start anyway, huh? Launch, I mean, not start. I wonder if the rocket would have had any different fate if it would have closed all of this up like I should. Why can't it just start like that? That's weird. Weird. Copy. This guy needs power, and I will just go through the pipe with this thing. So here's our pressure valve, which I can turn on, and I will turn that, well, I will just define the pressure here. I will go for 200 kilopascals. 200 megapascals. Because what we currently have here is 100 kilopascals, and that was obviously not strong enough. Oh, 400! How did this happen? Here we have 100 kilopascals, here we have 100 kilopascals, and for whatever weird reason, here we have more. What's the temperature? Minus 165. Minus 187. That might be the problem. This guy is constantly exposed to the sun. I mean, there was explicitly, at least I've looked that up in between, before this video, rocket tank? Is that what it is? Yeah, liquid capsule tank large. Which doesn't seem to have any weight, 3000 liters, but you can see here the solar heating, so this guy is being heated up by the sun. And also by the surrounding environment. And so that actually increases the pressure. In other words, if I just keep waiting and experimenting here, and at some point it works, it might not be related to my experiment at all. Which makes me wonder, now that the pressure is 400 kilopascals, will it fly? Let's see. Not now, right now, yeah, I know. But let's look what this thing is saying. Acceleration 0, engines, thrust 6 kilonewtons, weight 9 kilonewtons. So, I mean, the weight, this is also what I know from Shadow Drake's video, is a combination of the mass that it has, not the dry mass, I'm talking about the mass that is actually there on the landing pad or whatever. This is the mass, it has 2.4 tons. And then we have the thrust. Wait. Oh, it's flying? No, I just. Okay, I was mistaken. Here. This is the gravity that we have here. The acceleration. And with some math that Shadow Drake actually did there, I don't know what he did, but he mathed around and then came to a result and then realized, oh, the result is written here also. Ha, why didn't I look there? Because that's the result. If you combine the mass that it has with the gravitational acceleration that the planet has, then you will get the kilonewton weight that is currently pushing down on the landing pad. And we have to overcome that. And if I turn this on, then we get this kilonewton, which should actually increase very, very slowly, because the engine is getting stronger, because the pressure is increasing in the pipe, because the sun is heating up the tank, and also the tank is getting more empty, which reduces the weight. So that should put more thrust out. But anyway, I mean, things are getting interesting, right? Haha. To me at least, and you're just sitting there eating chips and wasting the experience. Why is there some liquid CO2 in there? The nitrogen, I know, that was a little accident at the start that I made, just some pascals, very, very little. Some CO2? Did something combust and reach this thing then? How did some CO2 get in there, man? Well, it's just a pressure-fed engine, so it's just directly connected, and so maybe, indeed, some of the combustion results ended up in the tank. Why not? That seems like a reasonable assumption. that will also make this whole thing feel more real, more physical, and maybe that's even indeed how it is implemented. Maybe what Rocketworks did here was indeed to build these machine parts and let them function in the way that is most natural, instead of checking if this is connected to that, then do this thing, and then, but instead just natural. And therefore maybe the combustion that is placed down here, which would certainly produce some pollutants, for example, and also some CO2, I guess, actually, since there's just a pipe connection directly here, was creeping up the pipe too. Maybe that's what's happened. Who knows? Okay, so let's put a tank up here where we have some gas and remove that little umbilical thingy here, because it's in the way, I guess. And, well, I could use some inline tanks, for example. And here, with this liquid... Okay, let's have some thoughts here. This guy is occupying 2 by 3 by... let's find out. Copy. By 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 by 2 by 3 by 4. 2 by 3 by 4 volume, and has 3,000 liters. Let's do some math when it comes to the inline tanks. So this thing has 3,000 liters. Let's use the inline tanks. I mean, for just going by optics, I think they should have less, because they would have space in between, you know? So this thing has 250 liters, and it takes a volume of 2, I think. Utility gas. This thing has 250 liters, and it occupies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these we could have. So there would be 1,500. And then we zoom out, and we could then vertically have this. Okay, this has the same amount of volume. If I place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. If I place 12 of these, that's 6 times 500, which is 3,000. So that has the same volume. Then I ask, why do we have these guys? Does this, by the way, have a logic connection? Or power connection? No, it's just a tank. Oh, there's a connection there. So we could then check what's in the tank. Okay, that would be an advantage, which I currently don't have. Anyway, so let's put some of these guys here for gas feeding. And I will way overbuild once again. This doesn't work, there's a cable there. And then I need a gas pipe, which is found here. Gas pipe? Oh, that's not a thing. Sad face. Kit pipe, okay. And connect them all to make them one with each other, which is what that will do. They are not individual tanks, they are just one volume of pipe. This is one pipe network. This is how that works outside, and so I assume also inside of rockets. I mean, maybe you have noticed some devices in the game, or some objects in the game, in the Stationpedia article, have the information can be built inside of a rocket, yes or no. And so that's also how we should think about this, as in, this is just some normal part of Stationeers. Damn it. And so if it can be built in there, it will also work like a normal part of Stationeers in there, with the respective logic. It's a rocket, yeah, but still. Yeah, it's more fun like this, omni-connected, yeah, right? Isn't it? Yes. Question, of course, would normally be, how do you get gas into these guys? And for that I would have to have a gas umbilical, and then would have to pump some gas into them. And I actually don't know how these work. Are these pumps? Okay, this one is of course offline, that's the chute one. Or are these just a connector, you know? And in the case of the liquid here, I believe it's just a connector. Actually, let's make the gas one, so maybe it has a dial, so we find out. Umbilical. Gas, 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 here we go. But I assume the gas one will just... oh yeah, and we'll just have... we'll just use pressure. Because then it's your responsibility to add some pumps here and so forth to affect the pressure. And that would be more fun, right? It's not just when we're building an airlock in Stationeers, we're putting the 3 airlock crafting parts there, but we're putting there what by emergence will lead to a functional airlock. And the same should be here. Here we have pressure here, and the level of the pressure we need to control. So we need to put a pump here, blah 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 blah. Of course, I will not do that now. I will just cheat and add gas, you know. Because I'm still in the experimentation stage. I'm, after all, using creative here. I will leave all of this yellow. And then I will put some... yeah, it's pressure fed, right? I will just put some volatiles in there. Or some oxygen. The mixture in here is 60% volatiles and 40% oxygen. Which is not a good mixture. If I put volatiles in here, let's see what the pressure phase change diagram is. It would be liquid if the pressure is too high. Depending on temperature, of course. And here we are at minus temperatures. I don't know actually what will happen to the rocket in outer space. Will it cool down? And all of that is rocket science that we will have to do. Fucking cool, I want to do that. But with better music, though. They have such beautiful tracks. If I could pick them out, if I could favorite them, and then they only play those. Anyway. Where was I? How long is this thing? Oh, okay, 90 minutes already. So it sounds as if it's relatively reasonable, safe, to put volatiles in there. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Add gas. Volatiles into 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. 1000 moles, I guess. And because you can put 500 into a smart canister and then it will be full. We'll have 19 megapascals of oxygen. And then we'll just use room temperature volatiles because it seems very friendly. 1 megapascal of pressure. The pressure in there we can drive up a lot. So if I do this, we will have 11 megapascals. So if I do this, we should have like 35 megapascals. But instead, we have 300 megapascals, which is something I did not anticipate. In other words, shit. I don't know why they're exploding, actually. So what exploded, what burst? Aha, the tank in the middle. Copy. Place. What's going on in there? Only volatiles, 400 kilopascals. I don't know how I got that wrong. Was anything destroyed? Apparently not. Why did it burn though? Does volatiles with oxygen have an auto ignition pressure thing going on? Why did... I don't know, man, I don't understand. Anyway, so that was a bit much. So let's do... Yeah, it actually meant 29,000. So let's do that again. Oh, the pipe network might have changed. 17... Yeah. 17,759. 17,759. And now we have 35 megapascals. That's what I intended. I accidentally added... I accidentally a zero. Okay, so we have this now. And we have here a pressure of 400 kilopascals. So I will set a target pressure of 1 megapascal. And then we see whether the rocket flies, motherfucker. I had to put the motherfucker in there because to sound more cool than otherwise. That's also why I have this pretentious microphone mixture, which gives me more bass and all of that crap. Pressure-fed liquid engine. That's a rocket launch, motherfucker. Is there still something like... what pressure... What... 6 kilonewtons. Inline gas tank was destroyed. I guess I forgot to close one of the tanks, huh? Maybe another one was destroyed? Which one, though? I mean, where's all that gas coming out? Still 35 megapascals. Nothing came out. What the fuck are you talking about, man? It is still complaining that something was destroyed? No, it's just a log. I can delete the log. Here we can unfold that and we can empty it. These are events that took place. Cool, cool. And right this moment I suddenly have an intense urge for a new system. Maybe not a new game necessarily, but where logging would be a key thing. Not a key thing, but something that is always with you. You can always output something, it will scroll up, you will be able to check that, when did it happen, and so forth and so forth. I don't know why it's... Maybe because my colleagues are still at work and I'm not, because today's Friday and I just took 2 days off. Haha. Also the Saturday. No, I'm kidding. Yesterday. Yeah, so I guess that was just remainders of the burning air. So let's do this then. Open the user interface, turn on the rocket engine. We have a thrust of 6 kilonewtons. Let's turn on the pressure valve. And now we have more kilonewtons thrust. It's increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing, which is still not enough. You can see here now we need 10 kilonewtons, not just the 9,000 or whatever it was. 9 kilonewtons. So let's turn off the pressure valve. Well, actually, let's turn off the engine and wait, and then turn it on again and see with what thrust we start. Because currently the pressure valve is still pressurizing the pipe valves, the valves. So that's what we saw there. When I turned that on, it was increasing the pressure in the pipe, but it was only able to do so slowly. Because the pipes they are basically flowing, the content is moving about, because it's already feeding. It's already feeding the engine. Well, so that seems viable. Let's go to 2 megapascals then. And I wonder, can we actually prevent a rocket from lifting off? There should be some kind of clamping system here so that we could prevent that and just test the engines. Or is there a way in Stationeers to just test an engine like this? I mean, maybe I can build... Yeah, let's see if this umbilical thing here... Copy. If the engine mount can be... Fuselage must be constructed on top of a fully constructed launch mount. Ah, shit. So what about the engine then? Can the engine be constructed somewhere? Copy. Must be placed inside an engine fuselage. No, so we can actually not test rockets without them flying away if they have enough thrust. Is now my layman interpretation of this. Anyway, off we go. Lots of thrust. Now it will reduce because there was still some pressure in those pipes from the pressure valve being turned off after the engines earlier. Now turn them on. And we have liftoff, basically. Wait, right? Almost the right amount of kilonewtons, but not quite. Almost. Oh, I just saw that we have reached 8. But I'm leaving the pressure valve on, and then when I turn on the pressure engine, I believe we will be at 10.8 right away. That seems to be the logic, right? There's pressure on the pipes, no one is taking that away. 11 kilonewtons. 11.8 kilonewtons and we need 10 kilonewtons thrust. Why is this thing not flying? I mean, plain and simple, why is it not flying? It has more power than it needs to move. It's not moving though. Why is it not moving? I don't understand. That poor computer. 12 kilonewtons. Is it even increasing? Thrust to weight is 1.17. And it keeps increasing, probably because the fuel is reducing, so the weight is reducing. I mean, if I keep this thing burning, eventually it will take off. But no, let's not do that. Instead, let's increase the pressure valve to 2.5 megapascals. Man, this is fun. And they really return to the roots of Stationeers here, you know? The toying with atmospherics and devices and experimenting and trying to get some certain effect out of it. Very cool. Okay, engine. The pressure should actually drop because... Why is the pressure so high? The pressure valve is not on. Why is the pressure... Why does this thing have so many kilonewtons of thrust? I don't understand. What pressure do we have here on the liquid valves? On the liquid pipes? Megapascal. I don't get it, man. I mean, it sounds to me as if... As if all we have to do is get some pressure onto those pipes and the pressure will stay in there forever and we can then fly. Which, in my opinion, doesn't fly. But let's see what happens. Now that I've turned it on with 2.5... Oh, you can see the output setting here. Cool. Oh, I can control this from here! Motherfucker! Oh! Anyway, let's turn on the engine. 15 kilonewtons thrust. We have 1 to 5, 1.5, and do you hear the sound? It seems to be higher, like it is more like a flying rocket. Or maybe I'm misreading things. Okay, let's go for 3000 then. Apparently it takes immediately when you enter that. Why is it not flying? Let's go to 4 megapascals. Mark with keyboard, shift and arrow keys, and then 4. Fly already! I think the problem is different. The problem might be that, I mean, actually it does make sense, period. If this thing has a thrust that makes it lift off, why doesn't it lift off then? I mean, my assumption is the problem is actually with the target, because for whatever reason this is the target, I guess. I mean, the log just said it has arrived there, as if that was my idea. So let's see. What is the rocket's destination? Can we see that here? By the way, if I click abandon, the rocket will just be destroyed, and the fuel, by the way, will then be excreted. So that's what I did on the landing pad to find out. Okay. Battery avionics. Here you can see some things. I just renamed them myself like this. I wanted to know what the names do. And here we see the name of the rocket. That's the outer shell. You can point at that and yeah. What did I want to do? I can only scroll with the mouse wheel, not with the mouse. That's sad. Can I move the background by clicking on it? No, I cannot. So that's a lot of data here, man. What happens if I set power to 0? Can I do that from here? Press enter. Nothing's happening. If I click on something else and on this again, will I then see power is 1? What did I change? Did I... Oh, I clicked on mode. Oh, that's stupid. What does the avionics mode do? Avionics? Rocket avionics. What does the mode do? Okay, mode 0, which I just said, is invalid. Mode 1 is none. Then we can say what the rocket is supposed to do. Mine, survey, discover, chart, deploy. Chart is thanks to Shadow Drake. I know that chart means that you want to find more nodes of the map, so you're up there and they're finding more places to fly to. I don't know what discover does. Survey is for finding out what materials can be mined in a place that you have found. This is the activity of mining. And deploy, I guess, I don't know, go there, I guess. Where can I see what the target of the rocket is? Can I see that somewhere here? Is there some text here? No. Well, then let's look at location. Location launch mount. I can select... Ah yeah, the rocket is at the launch mount. And it is currently idle. And I can manually select here what it's supposed to do, I think. So let's select this and say set destination. So that has now been done for rocket 01. Can we see anything here, what the target is? No, the avionics do not say that, or maybe they do, but not in a form that I can decipher quickly like this. What about the downlink? Any information here? No. Can I see what the target is of the rocket? Let's see, location, launch mount is on the launch mount. Can I see the direction it wants to go? No. So I can only see that on the map. I guess I have to select the rocket here. And if I select a different one, then I would see the different one here, I guess. And here, the same, except here I can also select, which is a bit weird. Oh, interesting. I selected none, went... come on. Went over here. Oh, that reselects it automatically. Anyway. So, now that we have selected this target, what happens if I... So that was the problem. Well, this will take us 5 minutes to get there, but we can shorten that a bit by turning on this. See, now it's much faster. Now it gets slower again. Cool, huh? This thing is actually working. And if I want a different thrust, I can just click here and enter that. Cool. It's a bit problematic that you can only... And that's what the word means. It's not a fucking political power term, you fucking idiots. But they can use it. They shouldn't. They're abusing words all the time. Anyway, it's sad that I can't enter this value without it being taking effect immediately, you know? That's a bit sad. With more pressure, there's more pressure. Cool. I don't know what gas is left in my tanks because they're not wired up to anything, but I believe that could also be done. Somehow. Because, let's see, do the umbilicals... Okay, let's leave this on then. Do the umbilicals have some power connection? Let's use the gas umbilical and see. This one has... No, it doesn't. I thought that maybe this could be used as an entry point to find out what's going on in my manual tanks up there. So no, I guess you have to actually use one of those gas tanks. 36 seconds, half a minute. Ah, we can see the rocket ascend. This is our launch mount. And it's arriving in orbit. We're sending a rocket to orbit. My god, I can do rockets. Thank you, Shadow Drake, for the initial information. The key information that I got from him, because I mean, I also got some myself already by figuring stuff out, was that you have to place the umbilical things of the tower. Aha, so let's turn off the engine. That's also what he did. That's also something I know, thanks to him. Now that's what the rocket is, stationarily. The rocket has arrived at Mars orbit. So once the crew module is available and we can go actually into orbit and build stations there, I will probably be able to show you what that's like. Now I can say set destination. Yeah, let's do that then. Fly there. I cannot scan anything because I didn't install any scanners. I like 4 types of scanners and so forth. Man, rocketry. I'm having fun with this. This will be part of my playthroughs, dude. Yeah, baby. Also, Shadow Drake said, and I concur based upon the things that he showed me and that I saw otherwise also, that rocketry, while being considered a late game thing, isn't a late game thing at all. You can print the rocket manufacturer with the basic auto lathe. You can print many things that rocket manufacturer needs with the basic materials / with the level 1 alloys. Some things you need the super alloys for, but those are only few things. I don't know how many, which those are. I have to check that out again. And yeah, this is an option now. God damn it. Yeah, let's send the rocket over there. You select the destination. Let's check the location. We are now location. Rocket 1 is Mars orbit. Total points required to fully chart this location. I don't know what this means exactly. Yeah, well, if you have scanners, that will add a point here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 once they're running, and they will consume power, of course. How much power do we still have? Tons, I would assume. This one's full. This one's full. This one's not full. And this one's full. So, yeah, once the power has run out, the rocket will no longer be under control of anybody. And, you know, more interesting would also be to land the rocket. That is how I will finish this video. Yeah, let's send it to that location first. Start the pressure-fed liquid engine. You can see here that the thrust needed is it's 0 because we're in outer space. Or is it outer space? It's space. We're in space. Now it has arrived here. It hasn't? Wait, what's happening? Okay, the engine is on. ETA 0 seconds. Why can I not go there, I wonder? Is it flying or isn't it flying, man? More thrust. Target location none. It is in no location. A current location none. Target location. Set location. Set destination. I cannot do that because it hasn't yet been scanned. I have to scan first before I go there. Aha. Well then, let's land again. Turn off the engines. Sorry. And try to land this motherfucker. Set destination. Landing pad. There's also something like auto landing where we can say from which altitude do we want to land, and then we'll give you an estimation here how likely it is that that would work. It is saying here the confidence is very high. Confidence very high, 19 kilonewtons needed. Let's see what it says here. 16 kilonewtons needed. So 19 kilonewtons. Aha. So I believe what this means, see, we have a low number here, 25 kilometers. Here we have a high number, 120 kilometers. Here you need 16 kilonewtons, and a low number, here 25 kilometers, we need 19 kilonewtons. Why would we need more? Because I believe what we're seeing here is the altitude at which the engine would fire to slow down the rocket. And to slow it down sufficiently, we would need 19 kilonewtons. At least that's what this thing estimates. I don't know how that is. Yeah, but the flight is somewhat simulated, I guess, based upon gravity and all that. Anyway, that's the thrust that we need to be able to achieve, and if we can't achieve that, the rocket will crash. If you make sure that it will, if you basically boosted only here, you know. Okay, let's not use the auto landing thing. By the way, and this is auto shut off. This will turn off certain things. I don't know which things. Once the rocket has arrived in a certain place, and we don't want to waste battery, right? That's why we want to turn things off. Okay, so let's land then. Turn on engine. 18 kilonewtons. We are still stronger than the Canyon. It needs 96 seconds. I don't know if I turn on the pressure valve. Aha, then it will need more. What about if I turn off the engine? Oh, that's faster. Let's turn the engine off then. The height is 16 kilometers. Now we need... yeah, well, I don't know. Well, landing a rocket, that seems like an interesting struggle. 11, 10, it's falling pretty fast. Let's fire this thing up. And maybe go to... it's a bit stupid that I can't do this quicker. Higher pressure. Okay. So now that it's falling much more slowly, because I have piped up the pressure of the pressurant valve. Man, I got this. Let's, what if I do 7 megapascals? Then it's slower even. Okay, let's go down to 3 megapascals. 3.5, 3.4, 3.3. Okay, let's go down to 1 then. Do I have to leave this? No, the thrust is indeed decreasing. What if I press enter or tab away from this? Still 19 kilonewtons thrust. The altitude is increasing. Oh god, I have to turn off the engine. It's flying away again. The thrust was too strong. See, now it's falling again. Too bad this doesn't change its color as the direction changes. That would be very helpful. I will screenshot this. Meanwhile, my rocket dies. So then turn on the engine again. That slows it down. The fall, it slows down the fall. But will it slow it down enough? Yeah, it slows it down enough. The rocket is going up and down like an elevator. Cool, man. 3,000 meters. I will just let it fall to 2 kilometers and then turn it on again. Though, terminal velocity should be extremely brutal. It should be basically infinite speed, and so maybe turn it on again already. I don't want to lose the rocket. Oh, it's estimating the impact velocity. Cool, we can see that here. Here we can see the impact velocity. Currently none. Pressure for liquid and turn off. Minus 100 meters, that's certainly not healthy for a rocket. Impact velocity not available. Still falling, still falling, still falling, still falling, but it's slowing down. Now it's levitating in a place. This is ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure I can get this baby landed. I think we can hear it already. I would like things in Stationeers to be simulated a bit better. See, if you turn on a pump, it will just do clack, clack, clack. I already complained about that, and then someone told me that they are an engineer, and that's actually the way it works. Not the clack, clack, but that the pump can indeed immediately be turned on and off like that. That's a thing. I don't quite believe that, because there should still be some kind of acceleration and deceleration going on. I think when it comes to the motor in there. Impact velocity. I landed my rocket. It wasn't destroyed. I mean, for the very first time ever that I do this, not bad, man. So, and that's it, that's the end of the video, and now you have seen all that you need to do to get into rocketry. Goodbye.